transition to the NFL, and let's talk about Jalen Hurts as Nick Sirianni, the head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. He announced that Jalen Hurts will miss Saturday's NFC East matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. And so it's going to be Gardner Minshew who's going to get the start for the Philadelphia Eagles. So when I look at the NFL MVP race, I said last week that Jalen Hurts was my NFL MVP, and I love the way Hurts has been playing this year. Hurts got 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 3,472 passing yards. He's completed 67% of his passes. Remember, coming into the season and most of the offseason, we heard, and the biggest question was, is Jalen Hurts the franchise quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles moving forward? He replaced Carson Wentz, and in my opinion, there was nowhere to go but up because Carson Wentz was a mess in Philly his last few years. I mean, outside of the year when the Eagles won the Super Bowl without Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate that year, outside of that season, Wentz was never the same player in Philadelphia. And that's why Howie Roseman, the general manager for the Eagles, he shipped Carson Wentz out of Philly to Indianapolis. But last year, Jalen Hurts, he led the Eagles to the 7th seed in the NFC. They lost on Wild Card Weekend to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hurts didn't look great, but it was their first playoff action with Hurts as their starting quarterback, and they didn't have very high expectations last year. They snuck into the playoffs late as a 7th seed. So I thought them getting to the playoffs last year exceeded expectations for them last season. But this year, Hurts has been nothing short of sensational, and I just mentioned his passing numbers. Look at Jalen Hurts' even rushing numbers as a quarterback for the Eagles on the ground. This year, Hurts has 156 carries, 747 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns. So he's been doing a great job as a dual threat quarterback in this Sirianni offense. And I believe that he is the leading MVP candidate because he hasn't had one bad game this year outside of last week's performance against the Chicago Bears. I think he threw 2 interceptions last week. He didn't play very well last week against the Bears. He struggled in that matchup, but that was his first game this year where he struggled. I've seen Mahomes struggle in games and lost to the Bengals. He didn't play great in that game, but he didn't play horrible, but he was average. I've seen Burrow at the beginning of the season lose to the Steelers, lose to the Cowboys on the road in Cooper Rush. I've seen Tua lose 3 straight games to the 49ers, Chargers, and the Bills. 3 straight games. And against the Chargers at one point, Tua went 3 of 15 in that game, passing. So I think Jalen Hurts has been the most consistent MVP candidate all season long. But if you ask the question, will Jalen Hurts, while missing this game, is it going to hurt his MVP chances? I believe it will hurt his MVP chances because you look at his numbers in comparison to Patrick Mahomes this year. This year, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. This is comparing the two quarterbacks. Hurts total QBR. This was December 13th, so this was last week. Hurts QBR, 4th in the NFL. Mahomes was 1st. Yards per pass attempt. Hurts was 3rd in the NFL. Mahomes was 2nd. Passing touchdowns. Hurts was tied for 5th. Mahomes got the most passing touchdowns in the NFL. So I believe that statistically, when you look at the numbers, Mahomes has the advantage over Hurts. He has the advantage over Hurts. And Hurts, when you look at their teams and what they're working with A.J. Brown, with Devontae Smith, with Miles Sanders in the backfield, with Dallas Goedert at tight end, I believe Hurts is playing with more than what Mahomes is playing with in Kansas City. Now, in Kansas City, Mahomes, he has Andy Reid, one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. He got Eric B., a great offensive play caller for that Chiefs football team. And he has Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the NFL. He's already a first ballot Hall of Fame tight end. But that's about it. Everyone else that Mahomes is playing with, they're inconsistent. Juju Smith-Schuster is inconsistent. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is damn sure inconsistent. So I think that Mahomes, honestly, with Hurts being injured and missing this game against the Cowboys, I think this is an opportunity for Patrick Mahomes to take control of the NFL MVP and implement himself as being the leading candidate as we get into week 17 and week 18. I think if he plays great this weekend against the Seahawks, and I expect him to play great, I think he is going to be the leading candidate for NFL MVP as we get into week 17 and week 18. I think the race was already close between Hurts and Mahomes. So I don't believe I never thought that Hurts could afford to miss a game and still be the leading candidate for MVP honors. Call to the show if you disagree. 513-203-8655. 513-203-8655. Do you believe that even missing one game, Jalen Hurts can still win NFL MVP? I thought it was already close to begin with, but now with him being out, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Hurts to be able to win MVP. And again, I think when you look at both teams, I think Hurts is working with more than what Patrick Mahomes is working with in Kansas City. Everybody go follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys at Instagram at These Guys Know Sports.